Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very accomplished individual from Kisumu, Kenya, Purnima Shah. Purnima, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ashutosh. And I would first and foremost like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on your platform and to speak about what we do in Kisumu. Though Kisumu is not so much known on the map of the world, it's a very small town, but we have some good things happening here in Kenya, though.
I'm
So I'm
sure.
happy
I'm
to be
sure.
here, and thank you so much
Thank you.
for considering my request. And thank you so much, Ashutosh. I
I'm very
really appreciate
glad. Thank you for agreeing to speak to me. So, Purnima is a health consultant for alternative medicine. So, Purnima, before we talk about your role as a health consultant, tell me about your own amazing journey from Myanmar to India to Kenya.
Okay, it's been a process or a long journey though. I was born in Myanmar because my parents lived there, and we had my parents were there for almost 30 years or so,
Mm-hmm.
and I was born there. So that's how Myanmar or
Yeah.
Rangoon
Mm-hmm.
became my birthplace. And then we migrated in around 1961 when my parents moved to Mumbai when I was very young at that point.
Yeah.
So I believe that's where we migrated from Rangoon to Mumbai. And Mumbai, I grew up very casually as any normal person would.
Mm-hmm.
I educated myself in Mumbai. I graduated from Mumbai University. Um, and yeah, that's how I was in Mumbai.
Wonderful.
And then 1983, my husband came to get married.
Mm.
That's where he found me, and that's how I moved to Kenya after we got married. So that's how
Wonderful.
my journey
Amazing. What
grew
an amazing
from
journey. Three countries where you've actually
different.
lived and know the countries well.
Right,
So, Purnima, you got started in the field of alternative medicine. Tell
right.
me about this and what made you interested in this area.
Okay, I actually graduated in philosophy and psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have worked in various different fields in Kisumu, banking being my main sector. So I'm a
Wow.
retired banker.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also worked in several business sectors.
Mm-hmm.
But it so happened that my husband had quite a bit of health issues,
Okay.
and he passed away in 2019, sorry. And
Sorry
that's
to hear that.
when
Yeah.
I felt like helping somebody
Hmm.
would be a great thing,
Hmm.
because that's when I think my hidden talent came in.
Hmm.
After he passed away, I got into educating myself into alternative medicines, various different fields there
Hmm.
are.
Hmm.
So I learned and studied different sectors in alternative medicines like yoga,
Hmm.
acupressure, reflexology, and different areas.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I actually never knew that I had that talent hidden
Mm-hmm.
inside me, and which
Yeah.
actually came out. Sometimes you have that healing hands, which people say that
Correct.
people have healing hands.
Yeah.
So I realized that after I think I lost my husband, and I felt that a lot of people around need help,
Mm-hmm.
and if I can reach out to as many people as I can, and
Hmm.
that's how I started actually in alternative
How
medicines,
wonderful. How
and
wonderful.
that's how I grew from time to
Fantastic.
time.
So, Purnima, tell me, how does alternative medicine differ
Yeah.
from conventional or Western medicine?
Western medicines are more chemical based.
Hmm.
Now, if you look at natural remedies or home
Hmm.
remedies, or we
Hmm.
say alternative means any kind of medicines which are not chemically based.
Hmm.
So those medicines are more effective because they have no side effects.
Hmm.
Then zero side effects. Like you don't see people suffering from any other issues that other medicines would
Hmm.
actually have. So I believe alternative medicines are more effective to a certain level.
Hmm.
Obviously, when you need help, you have to take medical help. You can't say if you have a heart attack and it's going to help you with
Yeah,
alternative medicine. So
correct.
where medical treatment is required, we definitely recommend people to go for medical help.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And tell me, whenever one thinks about alternative medicine,
Yeah.
uh, people, say that, oh, I'm okay to try alternative medicine, but
Yes.
people tend to have some misconceptions.
Yes.
What are some of these misconceptions and how do you
Yeah.
address them?
Yeah. Some of them they believe that these are not treated.
Hmm.
They are just maybe plants or herbs. And how can that help? So
Hmm.
people do not believe. There are very many people who do not believe in alternative medicines,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they have like they are not recognized.
Hmm.
Secondly, they're not so well recognized. Like medical field, of course, everybody knows he's a
Hmm.
physiotherapist,
Yeah.
and they're well recognized and well known. But if you look at alternative area,
Hmm.
people do not believe. They do not trust some
Hmm.
of them. They
Hmm.
feel like you're just doing this because it might just happen, it may
Hmm.
work, it may not work. So the belief is that this cannot happen.
Right.
It cannot work.
Hmm.
So, and they're pretty skeptical. Like if you tell them to take moringa leaves,
Hmm.
they'll say, "How can leaves help you?"
Hmm.
But the benefits are immense.
Right.
And once when you actually give them the remedies and they try it out and they see
Hmm.
the results,
Hmm.
so the awareness is limited. I mean, especially in Kenya, it may be more so in other part of the world,
Hmm.
but in Kenya, there's very limited actually awareness of
Hmm.
alternative medicine, and people
Hmm.
are very, very skeptical about this. So making them understand, making them know what alternative medicines can help
Hmm.
and its benefits, and that's how they can actually
Wonderful.
be able to
But
move
tell me,
on.
what kinds of healing have you
Yes.
provided for your patients?
Okay, there's several, like every country or every different parts of the world have
Hmm.
different kinds of
Yeah.
treatments,
Hmm.
remedies, herbal treatments,
Hmm.
etc. But it's too much to handle. Like you
Hmm.
can't do everything.
Absolutely.
So I treat my patients with acupressure, with reflexology, with auricular, with
Hmm.
sujo, yoga, meditation.
Hmm.
So these are some of the treatments that I
Right.
do for my patients. And then of
Hmm.
course naturopathy
Yeah.
is very much into. A lot of people are very happy with the naturopathy side.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Right.
which is herbal and natural. So
Hmm.
that is pretty helpful for a lot of people.
Wonderful. And
Yeah.
Purnima, for all the treatments that you normally give, what kinds of health issues
Yeah.
can people address with those?
Actually, it's amazing. It's truly amazing
Hmm.
that I come across all kinds of problems,
Hmm.
including intense ones. Like I said, heart problems, if
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have to see a doctor.
Yeah.
But still, some of them would want to go through natural remedy.
Hmm.
Maybe they want to try or whatsoever.
Hmm.
Kidney failures, like people who are on dialysis, but still they may want to, they seek for that hope is there, like
Hmm.
maybe this may help, this may give you a healing.
Hmm.
So I believe that a lot of people would want to try, and I've come across all kinds of health issues
Hmm.
dealing with sciatica, back pains, um, all kinds of issues
Hmm.
that you can address in health. And there have been diabetes and high blood pressure, and a lot of people have got healing, a lot. There have like
Hmm.
thousands of people I've come across, and I've
Amazing.
been recommending them remedies, different remedies dealing with health
Hmm.
related to their issues.
Hmm.
And when they see results, when they see positive results, they are so happy. And the testimonies that I receive from them
Hmm. Hmm.
are unbelievable.
Amazing. Amazing.
Once when they believe in what you're doing, it's
Hmm.
that faith,
Well
it's that
said.
trust.
Well
And
said.
then they definitely are happy with what they do. So like it's all kinds of health issues
Wonderful.
that I come
No,
across,
no, that's fantastic.
including severe depression. Like I've treated people, okay, these
Mm,
are long-term treatments. I mean, you
mm,
can't say it's an overnight healing.
mm,
Some of them take much longer time. So
mm.
uh, even including depression, Parkinson's, I've come across all
Wow,
kinds of diseases.
amazing. And when a patient comes to you,
Yes,
what, how do you determine
yes.
which alternative treatment will be beneficial?
Yes. Now, first and foremost, we do a case study. We have to understand what their problems are or
Hmm.
what they are going through. Some are chronic, some
Hmm.
are having issues from like years, so many years. So some they may explain to me like this is a problem we have, which is very basic information. So if I require them to go for some tests, I would ask
Hmm.
them to go for some tests, get some
Hmm.
results so that we can work on it. Now, every individual will have different healing process because I cannot do natural remedy
Yeah.
for a certain case. So
Hmm.
it will depend on a particular individual
Hmm.
on his problem. Like if he is going through diabetes, I cannot give him just acupressure
Yeah.
and his healing will be there. Definitely, it will stimulate the organ.
Hmm.
But at the same time, we need to give him an additional supplement for
Hmm.
diabetes and diet plan
Hmm.
that would help him to reverse his diabetes,
Hmm.
for instance. So I can't say specific treatment for a specific reason.
Sure.
Every treatment will be different for each case or
Correct.
each illness or a
Correct.
disease that they might be having.
Correct. And
And I
that's where
do
your expertise lies, I'm sure.
Yes, and I do combination because sometimes you may have to combine natural with Ayurvedic, or
Hmm.
sometimes you have to combine with acupressure with reflexology. And so I have to combine different therapies, and which may work with which person, which I would just be able to determine each case
Hmm. Well
at that
said.
point of time.
Well
Yes,
said. Um,
yes,
my next question, Purnima, is how important is nutrition
okay,
coupled with alternative medicine?
yes.
And what kind of
Nutrition.
help do you give?
Yes, nutrition is very important because what you eat is going to determine, because it's, after all, it's all your gut.
Hmm.
It's all also what you're going to eat. If you're going to eat junk food, your body is going to be into a junk state
Hmm.
of mind, body, and
Hmm.
soul as well. So
Hmm.
you have to eat well, you have to eat healthy, you have to eat balanced diet.
Hmm.
Some of the problems actually start from the stomach, and
Hmm.
some of the problems are also psychological. They start from the mind as well. So
Hmm.
what actually you eat, nutrition is very important when you're dealing with health.
Hmm.
What balanced diet that you plan for yourself is
Hmm.
very, very important. So
Hmm.
nutrition, I believe, for health is absolutely very important.
Wonderful. My next question is that for our viewers and listeners, tell me,
Yes.
is there any kind of a science or any research behind a lot of the alternative treatments?
Um, you see, every state or country have invented their own different remedies.
Hmm.
Like say in India, there's so many different
Correct.
Ayurvedic remedies and
Yeah.
treatments, and
Hmm.
in China we have so many different.
Yeah.
So Turkish they have their own. So every country has their own different reasons.
Hmm.
But some of the common factors that are being dealt with remedies, dealing in alternative, are reflexology
Hmm.
and acupressure, because
Hmm.
you're stimulating the organs for it to function well.
Hmm.
And that actually rejuvenates your whole system, and your whole body
Hmm.
gets rejuvenated.
Right.
So I believe that should work well for most of the time. But everywhere you'll see different kinds of remedies being practiced,
Hmm.
and what helps. And what we look at is results. We
Hmm.
want is positive result. We want is people healing. Not everybody can afford doctors
Hmm.
or hospitals.
Hmm.
Also, the side effects,
Right.
considering the side effects that you actually go through,
Hmm.
it's immense. Like I've had some people, they say like, We've been taking blood pressure tablets for the last 20 years. Now we've had this problem with, and they asked to go for surgery. And I said, like, do you look into the side effects on the leaflets? Like, what are
Mm,
the side effects that you may
mm,
go through? And it's actually ignorance.
I
Not
agree.
even very few people may actually read the side effects, and the
Mm,
side effects are immense. When it's pretty late, because surgery now you have to cut through a lot of issues which come up later,
mm, mm,
which is too late. Like you go through, say, pain. People go through arthritis. They use painkillers and then they give higher dose and higher dose till the time they reach to the highest dose of steroids,
mm,
which ultimately may not even work. And then
right.
the side effects of steroids are pretty much immense.
Mm,
Well, I'm not against, but it's just like an eye opener. If you look
mm,
at it, is you need to know this. People, a
mm,
lot of people do not know, and they're not aware what can cause problems in their life in later
mm,
stage when they are
mm.
older, and then those medicines may not even work.
Yeah, yeah,
So
well said.
if some of the ailments can be healed through nature or through herbs, it actually treats you from the root cause. So when we are treating somebody, it's going to heal you from the root cause, and
Mm,
definitely is better than any
absolutely,
other treatment. Yes.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
Purnima, are there any regulations on these alternative medicine treatments in your country or in the country in Kenya?
Honestly, in Kenya, no, there
Hmm.
isn't. But definitely in these advanced countries like
Mm,
UK, USA,
mm,
Canada, Australia,
right.
you cannot practice without having their rules, regulations in
Mm,
place. So, but here in Kenya or India, I think if you're certified, uh, or even if some people are not certified, they
mm,
still treat you with home remedies or
mm,
any other herbal treatments.
right,
But
right.
here in Kenya, we are able to practice. Not many are there in Kenya, though, practicing,
Hmm.
but we do not have any such
Okay.
regulations. But it should be there because the reason why I say alternative medicine is not recognized in the hospitals. So
Mm,
if we have some patients who would be wanting to be treated with other remedies, it's not recognized.
mm,
So we cannot get attachment with hospitals because they do not recognize alternative medicines here in
mm.
Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my next question to you is that how uh, prevalent is alternative medicine in Africa?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
How
How?
prevalent is the use of
Yes.
alternative medicine in Kenya and
Yes.
Africa?
I think it is quite a lot in practice here because you see, if you see it in the rural areas,
Mm,
there are very remote places in rural place areas,
mm,
and there are people who may not be able to commute from rural places to
mm.
the cities or to the towns, and they treat themselves with nature,
Right.
and uh, they have some very weird ways of healing, and I may not be able to know what they
Fair
do
enough. Fair enough.
literally because they have some of their concoctions which we've
Mm,
never heard of or never known,
mm,
and they use those for treatments in rural areas and all. And it's practiced quite a lot here by the local people in most of the Kenyan countries or in
mm.
African countries, to say.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So I have time for two more questions for you. My next
right.
question is that based on your experience, how do cultural practices and traditions influence the use of alternative medicine?
I would say like alternative medicines, like herbal medicines, have
Mm,
been there for many thousands of years.
yeah.
It's not like it's been introduced recently. Okay,
Mm,
introduced now. They make alternative supplements. We use natural products,
mm,
but now in recent times, but originally people used nature,
mm,
actual herbs. So in if you look at and some people also combine with religion,
Mm.
like looking at if you look, I don't want to quote any religion as such, but
Absolutely.
they do combine some religion with healing, and they say it does help. So I believe that sometimes culture and religion are also combined in some at some point, and people believe that also the healing does come through prayers or through religious activities and things of that sort.
Sure,
And
sure.
yes, it is being practiced in some
Okay.
points.
There's a lot of changes happening in the field of alternative medicine. How do you stay updated on the latest research and breakthroughs?
Yes, actually, there are so many new therapies being introduced. Like, for instance, auricular therapy. Auricular is like something that you work on the ears, which was pretty much new, but it has got very good positive results. And I believe that people who suffer from chronic problems, it really is very helpful. So I keep
Right.
updating myself with what is going on latest. Like I do online classes or online courses because there's very limited information here in Kenya that we can get. So I'm attached with some of the online classes in India. So I regularly attend those classes and keep updating myself. I do a lot of research, online research, to get to know what's going on. And if I feel something is helpful or it's going to work, I would want to implement and adopt. But
Wonderful.
some, like color therapy, I find it like it's there, but I don't see results. So I wouldn't want to implement or
I
use
understand.
that. So some of the
Right.
therapies I do learn, but I don't use it because I
I
don't see
understand.
results.
Fully
So
understand.
I keep updating from time to time with research, with online classes, online courses, and I get to know what's going on
Wonderful.
further.
And on
Yes,
that note, Purnima, thank you so much for speaking to me. And I think the work you're doing in alternative medicine seems to be helping a lot of people. Thank you for everything that you're doing. I learned
yes.
many new things about alternative medicine from you today. Thank you for speaking to me and good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh. Thank you very much for this time, and I truly appreciate.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Bye bye. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.